Today in Can Haz Armory, how to use a bench grinder, specifically the soft deburring wheel of the bench grinder, to clean a blade if you don't have the wherewithal or desire to use elbow grease and a sanding block to clean your blades. Okay, so I've just turned on my bench grinder, and the wheel that's spinning that's closest to the camera is the deburring wheel. It's a softer wheel. It's meant to get rid of burrs, nicks, and whatnot. The wheel on the far side you can barely see is the grinding wheel, and that one I can actually cut through and actually cut a tang. Sure, I've done that. It's a pain in the tush, but I can do it. Can't do it with the deburring wheel though, and you can see it's cleaning stuff off. You can use a sandpaper or a sanding block, and you're right there to see the difference, that rusty blade versus the nice clean one. It's a good idea to get that rust off, because you don't want it to get worse and start eating into the blade. I've had some blades that have been really, really badly pitted and actually structurally unsound after cleaning them up. With a foil blade or even a saber blade, because the blades are rectangular or square in cross section, they're very easy to clean. I just going up and down the blade, everything nice and neat, and then I'll do the clean the groove out later, which is for a rewire, which this is doing. The reason I have the gloves on is that it does get hot because there's a lot of friction, and because of where the camera is positioned, I'm actually staying at an angle, and I'm going to have to do the other half of the blade, the front half, by turning the thing around to get to it where normally I'd be straight across, and that means I have to grab the blade where it's hot. I don't want to burn my hands. And occasionally I'm checking, looking at the blade to make sure I got all the stuff off, because that particular wheel is a little on the old side. It's kind of angled, and it sometimes I have to go over several times to make sure I get all the stuff clean. And here I am just finishing up, the foil blade. Flash a little swipes, and you'll see how clean it is. A lot better than it was. There's the wheel, winding down. Oops, I bumped the camera. Sorry about that. But there you can see the blade's a lot cleaner, and some of the burrs got cleaned up a bit too. And now I'll put the Dremel on that and clean it for a rewire. And now here comes the epee one. First thing I'll do is I'll run the edge of the wheel down the groove, which should get most of the scunge out from the sides of the groove that my Dremel can't reach, which really does help if I'm trying to wire things up sometimes. A little better there. Then it's going to be down the blade itself. The problem with the epee blade versus the foil or saber blade is because it's a V shape. Pardon me. It's going to be a little more difficult to get totally clean. I've got to go down the edges. And there's some spots that are going to be very, very difficult to get. If I had a sanding block, I'd get everything, but a sanding block takes a lot of time, and it's a lot of elbow grease. If I got a lot of blades to do, like one time I had about 3-4 dozen blades that were donated to the Scholastic League, I had to clean them up. It took me several days because even on the bench grinder, it took a long time to even clean. But here I go down the edge. The hardest part is going to be the fuller, which is the little depressed side just up from the shoulder where I'm working on right now. And the problem is the fuller has a tendency to slip off of the edge of the grinding of the cutting wheel, the deburring wheel. So there's the shoulder done, and I'm going to get the fuller now, which is, some people call them the blood grooves. That's not what they're for. Actually, they weren't for letting blood out to pull the blade out of its body. They were to lessen the weight of the blade. So I'm going on the edges right now, and the fullers right there that I'm pointing to. Those are going to go down the end of the wheel, And like I said, sometimes you don't want to stay on. It doesn't entirely clean the corners. And the way the camera is positioned, I can't get this clean very well anyway without blocking the camera view. But again, this blade is not going to be rewired because it's broken. So this is to show demonstration of how I do it. I would do a much better job of this if I had an intact blade I was going to rewire. But this is how you use a soft deburring wheel and a bench grinder to more easily clean epee and foil and saber blades if they get kind of discolored and possibly rusty. Much easier than doing it by hand with sandpaper or a sand block. Happy armoring!